Okay, so describe how the alliance systems were another cause to World War One. Detail the alliances before World War One and how they have changed, may have changed during the war. What's up? I think so. Should this be the fifth? You have what? 7? Are you counting from like the beginning of this chapter? Okay. That might be why then. It's like 7. Wow. Stuck 2 days in there. I thought this week was getting a little long. Huh? Yeah. Unless we have like one of them, like during a week. Let's say we're taking a test or review. Like by the end of the week, we only have one of them.
Next week.
Then I'll just add it to the next week. Small that out back there. No, I just opened. Yeah, I closed it so it stays there. I leave it open. No, this thing lasts for a while, especially since I put the cover on it. What is that?
I didn't even know it was that.
Oh, yeah. I put the lid on.
I didn't even know it was there.
One I had in my bathroom still good. And I haven't had one for a long time, so maybe this one will last the whole year. Should. All right, let's get to it here. Alliance systems. So, as video stated, as I talked about yesterday and on Wednesday, let's start off with the triple entente. Who was involved with the triple entente? Barbara, go ahead.
France, Great Britain, and
Yeah, good job. So France, Great Britain, and Russia. And we already know that France and Great Britain, okay, for a long, long time, for hundreds of years, they hate each other. They're bitter rivals. But what's bringing them together? What's finally bringing Great Britain and France together to maybe seek a relationship with one another? Gabe, what do you think?
Because of what happened to the prince or whatever, that they like end up against the other country.
Well, right now we're just focused on France and Great Britain. Why would they team up together? Not yet, not yet. Griffin, why do you think? There you go. There you go. Good job. So Germany just unified to defeated France in the Franco-Prussian War. Okay, we know that there's a bitter rivalry between those two countries. Also, Great Britain, okay, sees that Germany's rising as a world power and even challenging them with what? What are they challenging with? That naval arms race, right? Okay, so already Great Britain's really not too fond of Germany either. So that's what brings these two countries, Great Britain and France, together. They see the rising world power of Germany and what their potential really is. If they don't link together, there's no way they're going to stop them by themselves. All right, good. And then who else was a part of the Triple Entente? Barbara, I think you said it.
Wait.
And Russia, good job. Yeah, Russia. Why would they try to ally with Russia? Noah? Yeah, good job. They have them surrounded from the very beginning. So Russia is on the eastern side of Germany, right? Okay. And we have France and Great Britain on the western side. I'll bring up the slide. Yeah, so with the Triple Entente, we have these three countries working together, and the real reason is just to keep Germany at bay. All right, they all know that they can't compete with Germany by themselves. The only way that they can combat against their modernization, their advancement, is if they group together. And really, if you look at the map, I mean, if you had to pick who's going to win this war from the very beginning, it looks like the Triple Entente, right? It looks like because France and Great Britain on the western side and Russia on the eastern side, Germany's going to have to fight a two-front war. They're going to have to split up their troops, their armaments, their supplies, and go into two fronts. It's going to be difficult to manage. All right, and the Triple Alliance at the start of the war involving Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. As you can see, Italy, they transition out, right? Okay, we'll talk about this and why Italy decides to drop out of the Triple Alliance and move on to the Allied powers. One of the main reasons is that they want to see victory. They're just unifying as a country, and they know the war is maybe not going in the direction for Germany and the Triple Alliance, the Central Powers. So towards the middle of the war, like we mentioned yesterday, the Central Powers is a part of it, was the Triple Alliance, right? Minus Italy. Okay. So if you ever presented that, if you see it on a test, just think the Central Powers, center of Europe. You have Germany, you have Austria-Hungary, and then the Ottoman Empire is kind of at the bottom there. All right. So those are the three main powers I want you to know for the Central Powers. The Allied powers, we have France, Great Britain, Russia. Eventually, we'll talk how the United States gets involved on the Allied power side. Okay, but we got some time yet. And there's other countries that are obviously a part of these Allied powers and Central Powers, but for the most part, these are the main countries involved. Right? Even Japan, okay, Japan is on the side of the Allied powers. One of the main reasons is that they had a strong alliance with Great Britain. And the United States, even though tensions are kind of rising in the Pacific between Japan and the United States, Japan still wants to make sure that they're on the side of the victors. So when they claim land after this war, potentially Japan could get some territorial possessions in Asia that Germany controlled. And that's kind of what happens, but not really, which really angers Japan a lot moving into World War II. All right, is there any questions on the alliance system? So I know yesterday I talked about the cafeteria fight scene. So if you guys ever maybe get confused at how these countries all get involved, maybe think back to that. We know with the assassination, there is turmoil between Serbia and Austria, right? Austria demanded a lot from Serbia to investigate their country, to send military officials into their country and control their media. Obviously, Serbia is not going to adhere to all those demands. So Austria declares war on Serbia. Who backed up Serbia? Who's on their side? Because really the Slavic-speaking people have a similar culture, language, and this country wanted to make sure that they could protect Southeastern Europe. Who's backing up Serbia? Go ahead, Griffin. Russia. Good job. Good job. And yesterday in that reading, it kind of showed that Serbia was the little brother to Russia. Good. Who was backing up Austria from the very beginning? So if this war was going to break out between Austria and Serbia, we know that Russia is joining Serbia. Who's joining Austria? Go ahead, Tanner.
Germany.
Germany. Good job, because that dual alliance, they share a border. We've already mentioned that. We talked about that. Good. So how does France get involved? How does France get involved? Well, they're part of the Triple Entente, right? Okay, so if Russia's going to get involved in this war, so will France. And we'll talk on Monday. There's a Schlieffen plan. I know it's a funny name, but Germany decides to attack France, not between the border, not between Alsace-Lorraine, but actually through neutral countries of Belgium. Okay, as you can see at the top, Belgium splitting Germany and France at the northern part of Europe. Where I get this on here. There you go. So Belgium's right up here, guys. So Germany, rather than attacking the predictable way, right, at the border between France and Germany, they decide, well, let's try to surprise attack it. Let's try to seek an advantage and attack through Belgium, which they do. And one thing to note, guess where Paris is? Paris, the capital of France, is actually only 90 miles, 100 miles away from the Belgian border. So that's a pretty good idea by Germany, right? If they march right through Belgium, they really don't see any type of resistance whatsoever. It's hard for France to mobilize their troops along this border and move all the way up north to the border between Belgium. And if Germany captures the capital right away, this war is over. Also, if Germany attacks through Belgium, they can maybe prevent Great Britain from getting troops on the ground in northern France. If they attack that fast, that efficient, and maybe end this war like that and capture Paris, this is going to prevent any type of troops coming from Great Britain. Again, we'll talk about that on Monday, but that's kind of how this war starts. Once Germany invades through Belgium, while they invaded a neutral country, and Belgium was considered like Great Britain's little brother in yesterday's reading. Right, so Great Britain had to join. They know if Germany controls all of France, there's no way Great Britain's going to stop Germany from moving and controlling really all of Europe at that point. All right, is there any questions on the alliance system? See how that last cause drags everything together, brings all these countries and their territorial possessions into this war and makes it a global conflict. Okay, so right now, guys, I'm going to come around and check your bell ringers. So have those out ready to go. But I want to assign this for you guys to work on for the rest of the class. And you should be able to get this all done. It's really not too long. So I'll come around and check these bell ringers. But here attached, you'll see, it says MANIA, causes to World War I. I'll just click on that right now and show you what it looks like. It's really just an activity describing the 5 main causes we already went over, we talked about already. So this should be pretty self-explanatory. And if you write in your vocab, like you should be the whole time, okay, you just really have to copy the definition over. There it is. So MANIA, we all know militarism, right? You can just say one of the A's, alliance system, but make sure you label the alliance systems out, okay? So describe what countries are a part and involved within these alliance systems. So just describe how, really, these are the description of the term and detail examples for each. So again, for alliance system, you're just going to detail about the triple entente, the triple alliance, and then the Central Powers, Allied Powers. All right, you guys good with that? And then assassination, make sure you mention Franz Ferdinand, okay? I usually do this as we're going through the notes, but I felt like this is an easy way too, or after we're all done with it. You can just type them all in, and you can use it as a study tool. All right, back to modules. Here's the map activity. Once I get it here. There we go. So the map activity, actually put a link on here. It's a game. So whoever has the fastest time picking out the countries with 100%, they'll get an extra credit point on the test, on the quiz, okay, on the map quiz. I'll show you that here soon. But here's the activity for now, like you guys will work on. You're just going to label the countries throughout Europe during World War I at the start of 1914. Like I said, I think it's important to know where these countries are located, especially since we're talking about movements, since we're talking about battles, and knowing where the alliance systems really are. Okay, we talked and focused a lot on Germany already, so we should know where they're at, where they're located. So you're just going to follow directions, and then you're going to label the Central Powers, Allied, and then some of the neutral countries that may have not been involved. All right, and then you can see here bodies of water. There you go. And there's a couple questions at the bottom. You guys good? Okay, so here's the game for you guys. If you have some time, You can play this game here. I'll put it up and kind of show you what it looks like. Oh, it's not that bad. It is not. So here's the game. So you're just going to go through and click on these countries and try to get the fastest time. So if you get 100% in the fastest time, you get an extra credit point on the test. Some students really have a lot of fun with it. So you try it out.
How many times can you do it?
Huh?
Can you do it like multiple?
Unlimited. Yeah, you can just keep doing it. Yeah, keep doing it. I think the best I've got so far was like 28 seconds or 27. It's pretty quick. Pretty quick. Especially with the iPad, you can just go down. All right, is there any questions, guys? All right, cool. I'm gonna come around and check your bell ringers. So have those out, ready to go.